So, dear students, uh, today I'm going to discuss the chapter 12, and this chapter will be of biology, chapter 12 biology. So, I want that all of you must come and must join this class. So, we will discuss this chapter. Okay. So, now come online. We are going to start this chapter, and its previous part we have already covered on that day when I have completed what are the micronutrients and what are the micronutrients. Okay, this part I have completed. So now today I will discuss the remaining part of that chapter, and this will be part 2. Okay, so good morning everyone, good morning. So now I am going to discuss part 2. Dear students, in this chapter what we will discuss? First thing, what is the role of this part? I have already told what are the macronutrients and what are the micronutrients. This part I have already told you. So now what is the role of macronutrients and what is the role of micronutrients? This I have to discuss. Okay, so listen carefully. And before that, once I am going to revise that part, what are the macronutrients and what are the micronutrients? So listen. Micronutrients are CHON, PS, Ca, Mg and K. Understood? Once again I am repeating. C means carbon, H means hydrogen, O means oxygen, N means nitrogen, P means phosphorus, S means sulfur, Ca means calcium, Mg means magnesium, and last is potassium. So you must know these 9 are required in little bit more amount. So these 9 elements are known as macronutrients. These 9 elements are known as macronutrients. Is it clear? You got this point? What are these 9 macronutrients? Okay, now the remaining all will be micronutrients. What are the remaining? Remaining are first is iron, suppose copper, molybdenum, boron, zinc, whatsoever the remaining elements you study, these all will be micronutrients. So this part I have told. So now I have to tell you the what is the role of these essential elements. Okay, so the first thing I am telling you, these will make the structure of the cell, I should say. So these will be the structural. So basically 4 bigs are known as structural elements. What are these 4 bigs? CHON, CHON. Okay, you must remember these things: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. These 4 are responsible to make the structure present inside the cell. So I believe you are clear in this. CHON will make the structure part of the cell. So it is clear. Now next thing, few essential elements will be related to the energy. Okay, that means they will provide energy, like magnesium in chlorophyll, that makes that perform its role in photosynthesis, as you know. So you must say that magnesium in chlorophyll and phosphorus in ATP, these two are energy related chemicals. Is it clear? Magnesium in chlorophyll and phosphorus in ATP, these two are energy related chemicals. Okay, energy related elements. Okay, means CHON will be structural one, and magnesium and phosphorus, these will be energy related. Okay, now few either will inhibit the enzymes or activate the enzymes, like they will be responsible for enzymatic actions. Clear? Like magnesium, that actually activates ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase. समझ लीजिए, बहुत बड़ा सा नाम है, ribulose 1,5 bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase, that means Rubisco enzyme. Rubisco enzyme will be activated by magnesium. Rubisco enzyme will be activated by magnesium. तो देखिए carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. These four will make the structure of the cell, and magnesium and phosphorus, these two will be responsible for energy. And again I am taking the name of magnesium, which is essential for enzymatic actions. Okay, zinc is also there. Zinc is essential for some other enzymatic activities like alcohol dehydrogenase. Alcohol dehydrogenase will be activated by zinc. Molybdenum, that is associated with nitrogenase enzyme. Okay, so molybdenum is responsible for nitrogenase. You must know what is the nitrogenase. देखिए एक एंजाइम होता है nitrogenase, and this is responsible to make the root nodules in nodule forming plants. Is it clear? नोड्यूल बनाने वाले प्लांट्स में ये जो नाइट्रोजिनेज होता है ये क्या करता है, ये रूट नोड्यूल फॉर्म करने में हेल्प करता है. ओके, सो आई हैव टोल्ड यू ऑलरेडी व्हाट थिंग्स. नंबर 1 मोलिब्डेनम, जिंक और मैग्नीशियम. कम से कम 3 चीजें आपको एग्जाम में लिखनी होंगी. ये 3 चीजें क्या करती हैं, ये एंजाइमेटिक एक्शंस में इन्वॉल्व होती हैं. इज इट क्लियर? नाउ सम इसेंशियल एलिमेंट्स दे कैन ऑल्टर द ऑस्मोटिक पोटेंशियल ऑफ द सेल. ठीक है ना, मतलब सेल में क्या अंदर आना है, सेल में क्या बाहर जाना है, उस चीज को रेगुलेट करने वाले कुछ एसेंशियल एलिमेंट्स भी होते हैं, जैसे पोटेशियम, जैसे सोडियम. ओके, सो सोडियम एंड पोटेशियम दे हेल्प somehow the membrane permeability, sorry, they alter the membrane permeability. Okay, so you can write these things what I have told you. स्ट्रक्चरल वाले होते हैं, एनर्जी रिलेटेड होते हैं, कुछ ऐसे होते हैं जो एंजाइम को अफेक्ट करते हैं, और कुछ ऐसे होते हैं जो ऑस्मोटिक पोटेंशियल सेल का जो है उसको अफेक्ट करते हैं. ओके, ऑस्मोटिक पोटेंशियल ऑफ द सेल. ओके, सो इन दीज मैनर दे ऑल विल बी ऑल्टरिंग, either altering the cell's activities, or they will change the cell's structure. Okay, they will form something for the cell. Is it clear? So all these things I believe you got. If you have any doubt, please tell me what is the role of macro and micronutrients. I will explain again. Okay, so please, if you have doubt or if you want to ask something, you can ask. Okay, so is it clear or not? If yes, then I am going to explain another part of this. Okay, so listen carefully. Essential elements, once again I am repeating, in your exam also you can write this thing. Essential elements can perform the metabolic processes. Okay, they can affect the permeability of the cell, they can make the structural part of the cell, and they can perform some enzymatic actions also. Okay, so all these things you have to write in the exam. Okay, now one thing more you can write, like maintenance of osmotic concentration of cell sap, electron transport system. One thing I forgot to tell you that is very important. I have to tell you that electron transport system, ETS, that is also associated with the essential elements. Okay, essential elements somehow will affect the electron transport system. They will affect the electron transport system. Is it clear? Now individually what will be their role, that like pen, paper, if you don't have, please get the pen and paper. I will tell you something to write. Okay, if you don't have the pen, paper, please get it. I will tell you something to write. Okay, please get it. Okay, what will be the individual role of the essential elements? So first thing you have to write the like nitrogen. What is the role of nitrogen? So you must know nitrogen is required in, like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen we don't study, because carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, if these things will not be there, then plants existence cannot be there. Okay, so they are the basic things, that's why we don't study the CHO. Okay, without CHO life cannot exist. Okay, so we don't study. Now we are studying only the thing that is nitrogen. We are starting from nitrogen, so you must write first thing nitrogen. Okay, you must write one important thing, that is nitrogen is required in greatest amount. मीन्स जितने भी बचे वाले हैं उनमें सबसे ज्यादा अगर कोई चीज जरूरत पड़ती है तो वो कौन जरूरत पड़ती है? नाइट्रोजन. प्लांट्स को कौन सी चीज जरूरत पड़ती है सबसे ज्यादा? कार्बन, हाइड्रोजन, ऑक्सीजन को छोड़ दें तो दैट विल बी नाइट्रोजन. So number 1, it will be required in greatest amount, and in which form it will be required. So you must know. In our air, nitrogen is present approximately 78%, but this nitrogen is not available for the plants, because the plants cannot get this nitrogen directly. Okay, so they are dependent on some bacteria or some other microorganisms. Okay, and these bacteria and microorganisms, they will break this nitrogen and they will convert this nitrogen into either NH4 plus. NH4 plus means ammonium form, or NO2 minus, that is nitrite form, or NO3 minus. Is it clear? You can write once again NH4 plus, that is ammonium form, NH4 plus ammonium form, then NO2 minus, that is nitrite form, then NO3 minus, that is nitrate form, and these forms will be mixed with the soil, and now plant can easily get this nitrogen. That means plant can get the nitrogen in the form of nitrate, nitrite, or ammonium, generally in the form of nitrate. Is it clear? Generally in the form of nitrate, but not always. Okay, so this thing I believe it is clear. Now where this will be required means plants के अंदर कहाँ कहाँ ये जरूरत पड़ेगी, तो it will be required to all parts of the plant, all parts of the plant, not only plants. If you are talking about ourselves, all parts of animals also it will be required. Is it clear? प्लांट्स को भी ज़रूरत पड़ती है ये पूरी तरीके से, मीन्स उसके बॉडी को पूरा बॉडी को ज़रूरत पड़ती है, इवन एवरी सेल को ज़रूरत पड़ती है, बिकॉज इट इज द कंपोनेंट ऑफ एमिनो एसिड्स. So if any plant want to make amino acids, it will require nitrogen. Okay, so you must know nitrogen will be required for all the plants part. Okay, one thing. Second thing, particularly where it will be required, particularly where the division is going on, that means where the meristematic tissues are divided, meristematic cells are dividing. So there the nitrogen will be required in more amount, that will be a raw material and that will be required in more amount. Okay, now you must say one thing was the protein where the nitrogen is required. Apart from protein, it will be required to make the nucleic acids, vitamins and hormones. Okay, nucleic acids, vitamins and hormones. So you may say that protein, nucleic acid, vitamins and hormones, all these things will be requiring nitrogen for their formation. Is it clear? Means nitrogen will be required to make the protein, vitamins and what you call nucleic acid and hormones. Okay, is it clear? Now listen, next thing we are talking about phosphorus. Another thing what we are talking about is phosphorus. So you must know phosphorus is absorbed by the plants from soil in the form of phosphate ions. Okay, in the form of phosphate ions. These phosphate ions means PO4 2 minus. Phosphate ions means PO4 2 minus, or PO4 3 minus, I should say, rather than PO4 2 minus, I should say PO4 3 minus. So these phosphate ions will be required either in the form of H2PO4 minus or HPO4 2 minus. Write correctly, H2PO4 minus, H2PO4 minus means superscript minus. Okay, or HPO4 2 minus, HPO4 2 minus. In this condition it will be absorbed from the soil. Okay, that means it is mixed either in the form of phosphoric acid, like ions of phosphoric acid, that means it will lose the proton from there. Okay, and one more important thing, where it will be. So it is the constituent of cell membrane. You must know it is the constituent of cell membrane. Some proteins, it is the constituent of some proteins also, and it is the constituent of all nucleic acids. Clear? It is present in the cell membrane, it is present in proteins, and it is present in it is present in nucleic acids also. All nucleic acids are having the phosphorus. Is it clear? Because you must know a nucleic acid is made up of nitrogenous base plus sugar, and apart from sugar phosphate group is also present. So you must know phosphate plus sugar plus nitrogenous base. So this phosphate is having the phosphorus. So in this manner it is required. Now You must know it is required to make the nucleotides also, and it is required for all phosphorylation reactions. So now the question is, what are the phosphorylation reactions? Do you know? You get energy by breaking down of ATP. You get energy by the breakdown of ATP. This ATP is what? Adenosine triphosphate ATP. Okay, how this ATP will be formed? So you know, this ATP can be formed either from phosphorylation of ADP, adenosine diphosphate. Okay, adenosine diphosphate plus phosphorus, these two things will make ATP. Is it clear? So in this manner ATP will be formed. In this manner ATP will be formed. So this was a phosphorylation reaction, what I have just now explained. Clear? ADP plus PI, PI means inorganic phosphate, will give you ATP plus H2O. So here you may say that addition of PI into ADP is a type of phosphorylation reaction. Is it clear? Now listen, I am talking about potassium. You must know potassium is also a macronutrient, macro ज़्यादा amount में ज़रूरत पड़ने वाला. And you must know NPK, these are critical fertilizers we used to say. किसान आदमी क्या यूज करता है, फार्मर्स क्या यूज करता है, तो फार्मर्स दे यूज नाइट्रोजन, फास्फोरस एंड पोटेशियम एज फर्टिलाइजर्स. Okay, basically these three are the critical fertilizers. You must know, it may be asked in the exam in future. So you must know, in this we are talking about the potassium. Potassium is what? Potassium is K plus. Okay, it is absorbed in the form of K plus. तो ये पोटेशियम आयन के फॉर्म में एब्जॉर्ब होता है फ्रॉम द सॉइल. ओके, अच्छा, this will be required in more abundant quantities in the meristematic tissues. You must know meristematic tissues are those where the division is going on. So जहां division जरूरत होगा वहां पर ज्यादा कच्चा माल जरूरत होगा, raw material. So here the nitrogen is also required in more amount and potassium is also required in more amount. So you must know what are these meristematic tissues. You may say buds, leaves and tip of the roots as well as shoots. Okay, all these will be the what you call meristematic tissues, and all will require potassium in more amount. Okay, one thing more, potassium helps to maintain an anion cation valence. You must know potassium helps to maintain anion cation valence in cells, and it is involved in protein synthesis also. Clear? One thing, in class 10th you have studied about the nerve cells. Okay, so in that nerve cells, you know, what you call electrical conductance, and you have studied that somewhere the conductance is moving from one part of the nerve to another part of the nerve. So here the potassium was involved. You have already studied this thing. So number one, it is involved to maintain the anion cation balance, and second thing, it is involved in protein synthesis also. It is involved in protein synthesis also. One very important thing you should not forget, and that is what? It is involved in opening and closing of stomata. Okay, potassium is involved in opening and closing of stomata. So what are the role basically? Number one, anion cation balance I told, second thing protein synthesis I told, and third thing opening and closing of stomata, opening and closing of stomata, opening and closing of stomata. This thing is clear. Apart from this, it is required to activate some enzymes, and it maintain the turgidity of cells. Okay, that means somewhere it is helpful in maintenance of the turgidity of cells. Okay, means cells will be more turgid or less turgid, and on the basis of this it actually regulates the closing and opening of stomata. Is it clear? So now I should tell about the calcium. The next is calcium. After potassium I am going to tell you about the calcium, and calcium is also macronutrient. Calcium is also macronutrient. Macronutrient means it is also required in more amount. Okay, so now calcium that is absorbed by the plants from the soil in the form of calcium ions, and what will be the calcium ion? Ca2 plus. It will be absorbed in the form of Ca2 plus. It will be absorbed in the form of Ca2 plus. Is it clear? Ca2 plus. Now what will be the role? So you must know, like, it will also be required in meristematic tissues, and it will be helping differentiation of the tissue. That means it helps in differentiation of tissues. So division, you know, Do you know about differentiation? Like I'm telling you, when the cell will divide, few cells will perform will make the tissue, and that tissue will get a particular function. So if a cell is changing its shape but not dividing, changing its shape and is adapted for a particular function, then this process is known as differentiation. Okay, in differentiation division will not be there, but here the changing means shape can be changed and some other adaptabilities will be developed inside the cells, and by these adaptabilities the cell will be ready to perform a particular type of function. So that process is known as differentiation, and here the calcium is required. So this thing is clear, like it is required as a raw material in case of meristematic tissues. Apart from this, it is required as a in case of meristematic tissues. Apart from this, it is required in a differentiating tissues. Okay, differentiation process. Okay, one thing more, during cell division it is required to make the cell wall. That means it helps in synthesis of cell wall. Okay, and if particularly you are asking, I will say inside the cell wall it helps to make the middle lamella. Got it? What is the middle lamella? You must know the middle lamella is present between the two cells. That means it is present between the two cells. Okay, if two cells are there, so in between the middle lamella will be present, and it will be made up of, middle lamella will be made up of calcium oxalate. So here calcium is also required. Okay, you must know it is made up of calcium oxalate. Okay, one thing more, do you know unripened fruits are harder than the ripened fruits? Unripened fruits are harder than the ripened fruits. When the fruit will be ripened, it will be soft. Got it? Like mango, you remember mango. कच्चा मैंगो कैसा होता है? हार्ड होता है, और पका हुआ मैंगो थोड़ा सॉफ्ट होता है. So why? Because this middle lamella will be dissolved in presence of water when the fruit is ripened. Clear? जब फ्रूट पक जाता है तब उसमें मिडिल लैमेला जो होता है वो क्या हो जाता है? डिसॉल्व हो जाता है. And because of dissolution of middle lamella, the fruit will become softer. Okay, understood? तो जान लीजिएगा कच्चा फल किसकी वजह से हार्ड होता है? प्रेजेंस ऑफ मिडिल लैमेला की वजह से. और मिडिल लैमेला किसका बना होता है? कैल्शियम ऑक्जेलेट. और पका हुआ फल में क्या हो जाता है? कैल्शियम ऑक्जेलेट का बना हुआ मिडिल लैमेला डिसॉल्व हो जाता है, और जब ये डिसॉल्व हो जाएगा तब क्या हो जाएगा? फल सॉफ्ट हो जाएगा. इज इट क्लियर? सो हियर आल्सो कैल्शियम I should not say calcium oxalate, I should say calcium pectate. I'm sorry, here I should say calcium pectate. Calcium oxalate I should not say. Actually calcium oxalate is found in the roots of like banyan tree. Okay, there it is found. Okay, by chance I forgot. Now one thing more, calcium is also required in formation of mitotic spindle. Do you know spindle formation occurs during cell division? जब cell division होता है तब spindle बनता है, spindle formation. So in that also calcium is required. One more thing, it is accumulated in old leaves. Okay, ये जो पकी पत्तियां, मतलब पकी नहीं कहना चाहिए मुझे, जो पुरानी पत्तियां होती हैं उनमें ये क्या होता है? accumulate हो जाता है. कौन? Calcium. This also you must know. One thing more, it is also involved in normal functioning of cell membrane. Okay, normal functioning of cell membrane, in that also the calcium is required. One thing more, it activates certain enzymes and plays an important role in regulating metabolic activities. So this much you have to write. Number one, cell wall बनाने में, differentiation process में, meristematic tissues में, middle lamella बनाने में, middle lamella means calcium pectate का बना हुआ middle lamella, mitotic spindle बनाने में, और older leaves में accumulate हो जाता है, और उसके बाद cell membrane का normal functioning में और कुछ enzymes को regulate करने में. इस तरीके से ये total working करता है, which is calcium I'm talking about. Is it clear? Now another part what I have to discuss is the magnesium. another element what I have to discuss is the magnesium. Okay, so the magnesium is also absorbed in the same manner, just like it is absorbed in the what you call the calcium is absorbed. Okay, जैसे calcium Ca2+ की फॉर्म में absorb होता है, उसी तरीके से magnesium Mg2+ की फॉर्म में absorb होता है, Mg2+. Okay, in which form? It is also absorbed in the form of Mg2+. Is it clear? Now listen, it activates the enzymes of respiration. Magnesium का main role क्या है? एक तो it activates the enzymes of respiration like glycolysis and all. Glycolysis के enzymes को ये activate करता है. Then it is helping the photosynthesis. It is helping the photosynthesis. It helps the photosynthesis. Next thing, it is also involved in formation of DNA and RNA. It is very important thing. It is involved in the synthesis of DNA and RNA. Okay. Next thing, it is the constituent of what you call a ring structure of chlorophyll. That means chlorophyll में जो ring structure होती है, you don't till now you have not studied about the structure of chlorophyll, but I am telling you there is a ring structure in chlorophyll. There is a ring structure. So that ring structure is also made up of made with the help of magnesium. With the help of magnesium, because magnesium is a chelating agent in that one. Chelating agent. That is these are some new words you may remember, and slowly you will get all these things. Okay, don't worry. After that, one thing you may know, and that is what? It helps to maintain the ribosome structure. It helps to maintain the ribosome structure. So all these things if you will write, you will get full marks. क्या बताया? enzymatic actions में, chlorophyll वाले में, ring structure बनाने में, ribosome structure में, and after that this thing you must know that it will be helpful in photosynthesis. Okay, so all these things you may know. Now another part we have to discuss, that is sulfur. Another thing what we have to discuss is the sulfur. So listen carefully. Sulfur, if you are talking about, so it is absorbed by the plants in the form of sulfate. That means SO4 2-, SO4 2-. Okay, and it is present in 2 amino acids, that is cysteine. First is cysteine. You must know this part is important. किन किन acids में, किन किन amino acids में sulfur पाया जाता है. This may be asked in the exam. So you must know there are 2 amino acids which have the sulfur. One is cysteine, another is methionine. One is cysteine, another is methionine, and it is the main constituent of several coenzymes. Okay, what are the coenzymes? देखिए, enzymes को support करते हैं. Organic means the organic part present in an enzyme which support its functioning is known as coenzyme. Clear? The organic part supporting the enzyme, is known as coenzyme. This you may say. Okay, now listen. So it helps in what you call it is this constituent of several coenzymes as well as several vitamins like thiamine, biotin, coenzyme A, okay, and ferredoxin. So all these vitamins have the sulfur, and what you call it is present in the amino acids also. So basically what performance it will show? Directly it will not show any performance, but you may say that if the sulfur will be deficient, obviously these hormones and these vitamins will not be formed, and that's why the problem caused by the deficiency of a particular vitamin will be associated with the sulfur deficiency. Is it clear? मतलब डायरेक्टली तो सल्फर कोई गड़बड़ी नहीं करता है, लेकिन सल्फर की कमी से कुछ विटामिन्स नहीं बन पाएंगे, और जो विटामिन्स नहीं बन पाएंगे तो उनकी वजह से क्या होगा? वो विटामिन्स अगर नहीं बन पाए तो उनकी वजह से जो प्लांट है उस पर विटामिन डेफिशिएंसी वाली डिजीजेस हो जाएंगी. ओके, इज इट क्लियर? सो नाउ दिस पार्ट इज आल्सो आई हैव टोल्ड यू. नाउ I am going to tell you about the iron. Okay, after that I am going to tell you about the iron. Actually iron is obtained by the plants in the form of Fe3+, that means ferric ions, in the form of ferric ions. Okay, now it is required in the larger amount in comparison to all micronutrients, but even though it is a micronutrient, not a macro. देखिए अभी तक जितने भी हमने बताए हैं वो सारे के सारे क्या हैं? माइक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट्स हैं, लेकिन अब जो आयरन है दैट इज माइक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट. आयरन एंड फर्दर व्हाट आई विल टेल यू, दिस विल बी द माइक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट्स. सो सबसे ज्यादा अमाउंट में रिक्वायर होने वाला माइक्रो न्यूट्रिएंट कौन है तो माइक्रो, लेकिन सबसे ज्यादा कौन जरूरत पड़ता है तो दैट इज आयरन, यू में से। ओके, नाउ ये किसका कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट है तो इट इज अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट ऑफ प्रोटीन्स इन्वॉल्व्ड इन इलेक्ट्रॉन ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम। You must know electron transport system will be occurring in what you call it occurs in our mitochondria and plants chloroplast. Okay, chloroplasts as well as plants mitochondria. So mitochondria और chloroplast में होने वाला इलेक्ट्रॉन ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम, इन दोनों में ही क्या जरूरत पड़ता है, आयरन जरूरत पड़ता है। क्या जरूरत पड़ता है, आयरन। ओके, इट इज आल्सो अ कंपोनेंट ऑफ साइटोक्रोम्स। ओके, इट इज आल्सो अ कंपोनेंट ऑफ साइटोक्रोम्स एंड it reversibly oxidize, like it converts Fe2 plus, ये it is converted from Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus and Fe3 plus to Fe2 plus reversibly. Okay, and in this manner like it performs the electron transfer reactions. It performs the electron transfer reactions. One thing more, it activates the enzyme catalase. This is important point, you may write somewhere. It activates the enzyme catalase. एक एंजाइम होता है पेरोक्सिसोम्स में पाया जाता है, उसका नाम है catalase. So it activates the enzyme catalase. Okay, and it is essential for the formation of chlorophyll also. So this part I have completed. All these what I have to tell you that I have completed. Now only few other micro or micro elements are left, so I am going to tell you those also. One is manganese. You may remember manganese is formed in absorbed in the form of Mn2 plus. It is absorbed in the form of Mn2 plus. किस फॉर्म में, Mn2 plus. जैसे आयरन था Fe3 plus के फॉर्म में एब्जॉर्ब हो रहा था, कैल्शियम Ca2 plus के फॉर्म में, मैग्नीशियम Mg2 plus के फॉर्म में. In that manner Mn2 plus will be the form by which it will be absorbed. Now it activates many enzymes involved in photosynthesis. Manganese activates many enzymes involved in photosynthesis, respiration and nitrogen metabolism. Okay, one thing. Another thing is the best defined function of the manganese is in the splitting of water. देखिए जब क्लोरोफिल में water molecule will be broken into, like H2O will be broken into 2H plus 2E minus plus half O2. This reaction is known as photolysis. You will study in photosynthesis chapter. So this reaction is known as photolysis. Here in this photolysis the manganese the manganese is the what you call element which perform its work as a coenzyme. I must say cofactor rather than coenzyme. Okay, because it is not organic, so it is a cofactor or it is a prosthetic group. So it works as a what you call cofactor in case of photolysis reaction of photosynthesis. मतलब हम दो बातें कह रहे हैं, एक फोटोसिंथेसिस भी कह रहे हैं, फोटोसिंथेसिस के अंदर फोटोलिसिस होती है, यानी फोटोसिंथेसिस जब हो रही होती है तो उसमें पहली रिएक्शन फोटोलिसिस होती है. फोटोलिसिस मीन्स ब्रेकडाउन ऑफ वाटर इन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ सनलाइट. breakdown of water in the presence of sunlight. This you may know. Now I should say about zinc. Okay, zinc. So zinc is what? Actually zinc is absorbed in the form of Zn2 plus. Okay, and it activates various enzymes, especially carboxylases. Okay, ये किस फॉर्म में किस एंजाइम को एक्टिवेट करता है? कार्बोक्सिलेजेस को. अपार्ट फ्रॉम कार्बोक्सिलेजेस इट एक्टिवेट्स द alcohol dehydrogenases. Okay, carboxylases and alcohol dehydrogenases, and it is also involved in the synthesis of auxins. Do you know auxins? Auxins are the plant's hormones. Okay, auxins are the plant's hormones. Now another is copper. Another is copper. It is absorbed in the form of copper 2 plus cupric ions. ये किस फॉर्म में जरूरत पड़ता है? क्यूप्रिक आयंस के फॉर्म में. ठीक है ना? तो यू मस्ट नो इसका हो जाएगा क्यूप्रिक आयंस के फॉर्म में ये एब्जॉर्ब करेगा, ये एब्जॉर्ब होगा. एंड इट इज इसेंशियल इन ऑल मेटाबॉलिक एक्शंस ऑफ द प्लांट्स. ओके, लाइक आयरन इट इज एसोसिएटेड विद द सर्टेन एंजाइम्स इन्वॉल्व्ड इन redox reactions and it is reversibly oxidized from Cu plus to Cu2 plus. ये किस फॉर्म में जरूरत पड़ेगा? ये जो है एक तो Cu2 plus के फॉर्म में एब्जॉर्ब होता है एंड ये Cu plus और Cu2 plus में आपस में कन्वर्ट होता रहता है और ये बहुत सारे मेटाबॉलिक एक्शंस में इन्वॉल्व होता रहता है, ठीक है ना। नाउ बोरॉन, you must remember this thing for NEET exams. Okay, what will be there? Boron is required, or boron is absorbed in the form of BO3 plus or BO4 O7 2 minus. Either I should say BO3 plus, sorry, BO3 3 minus, I should say BO3 3 minus, BO3 3 minus, or B4O7 2 minus, B4O7 2 minus. Okay, now it is required for uptake and utilization of calcium, membrane functioning, and pollen germination. Okay, now cell elongation and cell differentiation. Okay, and carbohydrate translocation, all these things. So what I have told you, एक तो pollen germination, cell elongation, cell differentiation, and चलिए फिर आज के लिए इतना ही रखते हैं. ओके, सो नाउ